Feeling a little run down from too many late nights or maybe just a bit too much holiday cheer? Well, you may have been hearing about IV drip bars, promising to speed up your recovery. But are these hangover cures and vitamin infusions really helping you, or are they just draining your wallet? Hello, and welcome to the Nutrition Diva podcast, where we take a closer look at nutrition news, trends, and research so that you can make smarter choices about what you eat and how you take care of your body. I'm your host, Monica Reinagel, and today I want to talk about the rise in intravenous vitamin and hydration therapies that are being sold directly to consumers. So I want to take a look at what's actually in those IV bags, what the science says about their potential benefits and risks, and when or whether this kind of therapy really makes sense. Intravenous therapy has been an important tool in the medical toolkit for nearly 2 centuries. It started out as a way to rehydrate patients who were dying of cholera. And today, it is a standard hospital procedure. It's used to deliver fluids and electrolytes, medications, and nutrients to people who cannot take them in orally or, for whatever reason, need really rapid treatment. So when someone arrives at the emergency room dangerously dehydrated, for example, or maybe unable to keep any fluids down, an IV line can absolutely be life-saving. But in recent years, this procedure has somehow migrated from the ER into the wellness marketplace. Boutique IV drip lounges are now promising to revive you after a long flight, or boost your immunity, or erase the effects of a night of drinking, all while you relax in a recliner with cucumber water and soft lighting. Now, many of these clinics are founded or staffed by physicians, often emergency room physicians, who've discovered that offering these hospital-grade interventions to otherwise healthy people can be a lucrative business model. But do the benefits of these treatments justify the premium price, or for that matter, the risks? So first, what is in these IV bags that are promising to detox or energize or restore you? Most of them contain a basic sterile saline solution. It's the same mix of water and sodium chloride that's used in hospitals to keep patients hydrated or as a carrier for other medications. And then to that, providers add a blend of vitamins and minerals, usually vitamin C, several B vitamins, sometimes magnesium, calcium, often amino acids, or perhaps antioxidants like glutathione. These combinations are given catchy names like immunity boost or jet lag recovery or the executive or my favorite hangover helper. But the differences between them are mostly branding or marketing. There's no standard formulation, no agreed upon dosages, and rarely any individualized testing to determine what, if anything, the client is deficient in. The main selling point is that by delivering nutrients directly into the bloodstream, IV therapy bypasses the digestive system, and this supposedly offers faster and more complete absorption than either pills or food. And while that is technically true, the nutrients do enter circulation immediately, doesn't automatically make them any more useful. Flooding your bloodstream with extra vitamins doesn't make your cells take in more than they can use. Often, it just makes for very expensive urine. In fact, despite the confident marketing, there's actually not much solid evidence that these treatments do what they promise. So take hangovers, for example. Studies in emergency department settings have found that IV fluids actually don't resolve hangover symptoms any faster than simply drinking fluids and resting, sleeping it off. It's true that IV delivery can raise blood levels of certain vitamins, vitamin C for instance, a lot higher than you could achieve by mouth. But higher blood levels don't necessarily translate into better function or improved health. Once your tissues have all the nutrients that they can use, the rest is just going to be filtered out by your kidneys. And that sense that people report of feeling instantly better after a session, well, some of it may be simple hydration, but a lot of it is probably psychological. I mean, when you've paid a couple of $100s and reclined in a leather chair and been attended to by someone wearing scrubs, well, you can expect to feel revived. And that expectation itself is quite powerful. So, despite enthusiastic testimonials from customers, benefits of these types of therapies for healthy people are largely unproven. Still, if it seems to help and you've got the cash to burn, is there any harm to indulging in an IV powered spa day? Well, although the risk of serious harm is relatively low, it's not zero. So every treatment involves piercing the skin and threading a needle into a vein, and that always carries some chance of infection or vein inflammation or even just bruising. In clinical settings, strict sterile technique minimizes those risks. But in wellness lounges or mobile services, infection control may depend really on the habits of whoever is on duty. And not all providers are equally careful. For example, I was recently having a routine blood draw at a nationally known testing company, and the technician actually picked up her phone while my vials were still filling. She scrolled through a few Instagram posts or whatever, and then she set her phone down and came back to disconnect the needle from my arm, all without changing her gloves. So it's just a reminder that even in reputable clinics, lapses happen. And given that cell phones can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat, the idea of people getting IV infusions in shopping centers or hotel rooms should give us pause. The FDA and several state health departments have warned that poor sanitation in these settings could lead to serious infections. And then there's also the possibility of dosing errors or inappropriate combinations. Fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K can accumulate to toxic levels in the body if they're given in excess. And very rapid infusions can cause electrolyte imbalances or fluid overload, and that can stress the heart or the kidneys, especially in people with underlying conditions such as hypertension or heart failure or renal disease. And because many drip bars rely on brief intake forms or self-reported histories, medications and chronic health issues may not be adequately screened before treatment is administered. I also think that these services may impart a false sense of security. The idea that these treatments allow you to get away with drinking too much, or sleeping too little, or overworking, or eating poorly. But no amount of vitamins, or saline, or antioxidants can erase the physiological toll of chronic stress, or sleep deprivation, or heavy alcohol use. Finally, there's the cost. Most IV wellness strips run between $100 and $300 per session, sometimes more, because they're not covered by insurance. Now, for that price, you could buy months' worth of nutrient-dense groceries. So obviously, the most reliable way to treat a hangover is to not overdrink in the first place. And likewise, the best protection you have against fatigue or burnout isn't an IV drip, it's a regular sleep schedule, steady physical activity, balanced nutrition. Those simple habits do far more for your energy and your recovery than any vitamin cocktail ever could. That said, things don't always go as planned. Life happens. Late nights, travel, celebrations, stress. And these IV bars have found a niche, catering to people who've already overdone it and now they're looking for quick relief. For most of us, though, The best infusion is a glass or two of water, a nutritious meal, and a good night's sleep. Now, if after all that you are still tempted to give it a try, here's a few questions to ask before rolling up your sleeve. Number 1, what exactly is being infused and why? Number 2, who's administering it and under what conditions? And number 3, what safer, simpler options might actually accomplish the same thing? Now, if you are truly unable to keep food or fluids down for an extended period of time, that is a legitimate medical situation, and you'd be better off calling your doctor or perhaps visiting an urgent care center than heading to a drip bar. Otherwise, you can rehydrate and replace nutrients just as effectively by mouth. Water, soups, juices, even electrolyte drinks accomplish the same thing, but safely and much more inexpensively. So to sum up, even though these services are often run by doctors and they do use real medical equipment, that doesn't necessarily make them evidence-based care. There's no convincing evidence that IV drips are going to cure hangovers or boost your immunity or improve your energy. At best, they're harmless and expensive. At worst, they expose us to unnecessary risks. And they may also distract us from the boring but proven foundations of health: movement, sleep, nutrition. No drip can undo chronic stress, skipped meals, or excessive partying, because wellness isn't something you can buy by the bag. It's something you build through daily habits. If you have a question or a topic you'd like me to tackle on the podcast, you can email me at nutrition@quickanddirtytips.com. If you'd like to find out about having me present at your next in-person or virtual event, you can learn more about that at wellnessworkshere.com. Nutrition Diva is a Quick and Dirty Tips podcast. Holly Hutchings is our director of podcasts. Steve Riekeberg is my audio engineer. Morgan Christensen heads up podcast operations and advertising. Rebecca Sebastian is our manager of marketing and publicity. And Nat Hoops is our marketing and operations assistant. Thanks to all of them, and thanks to you for listening.